Welcome back to Four Sisters, where we will give you tips on self-care, self-awareness, self-confidence, and show you all the ways you can love yourself. So get ready to laugh, cuss, cry, and pray.
Welcome back, guys. Episode 4. This is Kay speaking.
This is CiCi.
This is Dani.
This is Sash. How was everybody's week?
Mine was pretty okay. It was busy, but okay. Nothing to complain about.
I worked my 40 hours, so just like the week before and the month before. So.
You know, I'm out here just making it.
And I thought it was real interesting. We had winter and spring all in the same week, so it was great.
But the one thing that bothers me, matter of fact, you know what? Let me give y'all a word about the weatherman real quick. The last time it snowed in North Carolina, before this last week, the weatherman said that it was going to start snowing about 5 or 6, and it started snowing about 10 or 11. Then this past Monday, he told us it was going to start snowing about 5, and it started snowing like 11. 1. It starts sleeting in 11 or 1, and then it starts snowing at like 2. And I was like, I'm gonna need him to do better on this Doppler. Like, okay, I'm sorry, because I was gonna get angry because it was a lot. Go ahead.
I was trying to give you some background organ music, but it got caught in my throat.
Okay, so on to rants, reads, and resolutions. This is your bi-weekly entertainment segment. So this week, the rant, read, and resolution is on the movie by the Tyler Perry. It's called Acrimony. Acrimony, not to be confused with alimony. So the movie starring Taraji P. Henson. I'll read you all a synopsis of the movie. So the movie is about a woman scorned by her husband who does not appear to be taking it well. She narrates the story of her failed marriage to both her therapist and the audience. With most of the trailer, it seems like she's either in clear rage or acting out violently towards both her husband and his new lover. So this is pretty much a movie about a woman who's been cheated on by her husband and does not take it well. We don't really know too much about like the ending because we don't have any there wasn't any spoilers or anything that showed the ending, but it looks like she was angry. She was trying to kill people on a boat at one point. I think there was a car accident in the spoiler where she tried to run them off the road, and then the new girl, the one that her husband cheated on her with, ended up being his fiance, and then she tried to stun on her But I just got angry thinking about it, honey. But so the part of this that I wanted to have a rant about specifically is that Tyler Perry is always portraying us as angry black women. Literally, that is one of the most core aspects of all of his plays. There's going to be a or multiple angry black women. If you think about Why Did I Get Married 1 and 2, there was either a or multiple angry black women. Tasha was in there trying to shoot him up, thought that he was having sex with some lady, and it was just the maid having sex with the gardener or something like that.
And that one movie where all Cicely Tyson and Maya Angelou and all them was sitting on that porch singing them slave hymnals.
Family reunion. Yeah.
Everybody was mad in that one.
Yeah, and it's the thing about Tyler Perry is he plays to those most extreme stereotypes. He is able to say, you know what, black women are called angry. And then boom, it's the highest extreme of anger. I'm gonna run you off the road and I'm killing you and I'm gonna get AIDS because life is hard.
Was he the producer of Obsessed?
Was he?
I think he had a part in that.
I feel like he did.
What is Obsessed?
The one with Beyonce.
I don't think he did.
Let me look it up.
I don't think Beyonce would have did Tyler Perry.
Why do you think she wouldn't have done?
I don't think Beyonce. No. I don't think Beyonce would have put herself in a Tyler Perry film, but that's just me.
Well, I don't think she should put herself in no film, but hey.
You don't think we can act?
No, ma'am.
Let's get back to this rate resolution.
She was wonderful in Dreamgirls.
So the thing about the movie is that the synopsis is the theme is angry black woman, and And so, what the actual word of acrimony means, like the actual the definition of acrimony is bitterness and anger. So not only did he think the central theme of the movie is angry black woman, the word is named bitterness and anger. And so Taraji, of course, she's a phenomenal actress, so she's gonna probably make us feel like she really killed this man in this movie. But at the same time, how do you all feel about being in these situations, seeing this type of movie? KK done perched up. But how do you all feel about just being in these situations where you see over and over and over again Tyler Perry showing us as these ultra aggressive, black, angry, can't keep a man, and if I got a man, I gotta be saved by him because he light skinned with cornrows or a little fresh curl pattern, a little Jerry curl kid. How do y'all feel about that?
Truth is, I'm tired.
Why was I thinking the same?
I mean, how many ways can you write the same story? I'm going to give him representation. I'm glad that he's telling these stories. I mean...
Well, no, not that kind of representation.
I mean,
I'm just glad he's hiring black folk. That's the representation I'm talking about.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad that he's telling these stories because, you know, it may not be my lane, but there are people who enjoy it and people identify with them and they get their lives from some good old Tyler Perry. All y'all aunties and grandmas watch the haves and the have-nots, and I'm sure there's an angry black woman. Is there an angry black woman on the haves and have-nots?
Oh, yes.
So,
Tika Sumter.
See? She's very pretty. But, yeah, so, you know, there's a lane for him. I'm on another freeway.
Go ahead.
I really don't have many words for that. Because I let his ship sail a while back because of that theme and that story being played over and over again. Like, it's almost like the Lifetime movies. You know how it's going to end.
Yeah.
By the time it starts.
You know that hang on rock that cradle.
So I don't have, but I am tired of seeing black women portrayed as these angry, out of control women who can only be saved and rescued by a man.
What a Jerry curl pattern.
Okay, possibly.
Escrow pattern.
Or it's out here just destroying and ruining everybody else's life.
Right.
Y'all know I just watch it for entertainment. So.
CiCi like, I watch me a movie now.
I watch me a movie. I do. I wish that he would tell a different story. There's so many other things that black women do and can be portrayed as. Listen, do we stop watching it? Do we tell? Like, I'm really disappointed that Taraji was actually doing this movie. But then again, she cookie, so.
Yeah, she is cookie.
Yeah.
It's a good point.
And she is cookie.
Yeah. So.
Y'all know what Tyler Perry movie I really liked? Mm-hmm. That one where he was singing them Tupac lyrics. How do you want it? What movie was that?
Well, I guess we skipped it.
Was that Boo Halloween?
No. It was the one where, oh my gosh, what is that movie? Because I love that part where he be singing How Do You Want It? Good Deeds.
Yeah. I have not seen this.
Now that was a good one. That was a good one.
Different.
It still was an angry black woman in there. But
look at y'all trying to deviate. But the thing that I think about Tyler Perry is this. I think that he has a certain type of audience. You know, black women see his stage plays. I mean, back when he only did stage plays.
Mm-hmm.
And then all his movies came out on bootleg. Like, he knows who his audience is. And I think that as for African American women, we can somewhat identify with that in some way. Now, I ain't never tried to kill nobody. On purpose, at least. But, I mean, in the scope or the scheme of things, I just would say that you have to be honest in seeing that his audience, he caters to them. Yeah. And that is what that's what they want to see, because they go see Tyler Perry movies in droves.
Okay.
I don't know if they saw Boo Halloween like that, but he's coming out with a 2, so obviously they saw it. So
2 came out, didn't it?
It did.
I
watched it on Fire Stick. It was fun.
But I think that it bothers me because with Taraji in this movie, it seems like in most of his movies, it's like, I got cheated on. And, life is hard. And he loves me. I practiced that last night. But and he loved me and all these different things. And so it's almost like, girl, we can't be entrepreneurs. Like, we can't be the scientists. And what was that movie with the other
Hidden Figures?
Yeah, like we can't be Hidden Figures in the Tyler Perry movie. We can't be what's your girl name from Black Panther? We can't be warrior princesses. Like, we can't be, we can't do more than like the minimum in a Tyler Perry movie. We ain't got real jobs in Tyler Perry movies. Like, what do these women be doing? What's their occupation?
I wonder what his mama was like. Like, I wonder if he got some mommy issues, and that's why, like, this is his constant portrayal of the black woman, of like this hurt woman.
I don't know. I think partly because he was raised by all females, so I think that's probably the only thing that he really saw. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know his life. I just.
Well, it doesn't sound like in this situation that we are all here for another angry black woman film. However, we do understand that there's an audience for Tyler Perry, and we just might not be that. Outside of CiCi.
Listen, I just keep trying to give black people a chance. That's all.
He didn't have too many though.
I mean, you've seen all the movies now. Like, you giving him a chance. You gave him like 80.
Don't judge my life. I watch it and I'll be out here with Call the Popo. Like, I just.
He just got some classic lines though.
Okay,
he just got some classic lines.
I'll be out here for a Madea read. I really do. But, because he's made it clearly, I think he can learn to do something different.
Because he did say that the Black Panther movie, the Black Panther movie was shot at his movie studio, and I'm like, well, why didn't you get in on it, bro? Because that could have been a deviation from this angry black woman.
And that's what I'm saying. I think that it's got to be something in his personal life that's causing him to recreate this narrative over and over and over again. Because I'm sure he's being offered opportunities to do other things, and this just might be what he's choosing to do. This just might be his lane. Like,
yeah, because if it ain't broke, don't fix it. He making money off of it.
True.
So.
And like Ryan Coogler, like he puts
good documentaries out, like inspirational black movies.
But Compton is always represented in his film in some way, somehow. Like, Compton is his thing, just like I guess angry black women is Tyler's thing. That's his people.
I mean, but you also have to remember Tyler's character is Madea. That is the quintessential angry black woman who's been to jail, been fighting, I've been fighting my whole life. But I mean, it's just all these different things that he has created in his situation. And I think maybe most of his movies are based off of the depiction of a Madea.
Yeah.
Because it seems like she in most of these movies in some way, shape, or form, or even if she's not like physically, it's like a reference to her or something, So, I mean, maybe because he bases his character in the plots of his movie.
Not in Good Deeds. They won't know Medea's in Good Deeds.
I don't know which one that was. I didn't see it, so I don't know.
He was like Tyler Perry the whole time, like the whole.
And then when he plays a man, I don't believe him. Ooh, child. Did that come out wrong?
Good night.
No, I meant not. He is a male role. That's a better way.
You can't take him serious.
Yeah, I don't take him seriously because I'm used to the gray wig and the fake boobs flying everywhere. Like when he actually plays like an assertive man, like in Why Did I Get Married? I'm like, I don't believe you, Tata.
I can't ever hear the voice. I only hear Madea voice.
Yeah, like I don't. So maybe that's why because I don't take him seriously. Like if he tried to be played, like if he tried to be casted in any other role, I'm like, come on, Ty.
But and he did because he was Alex Cross, and
I never made it through that whole movie, but I want to watch it because I've read the book.
Right, he was Alex Cross, but every time he tried,
you didn't believe it either.
I didn't get it. I was like, oh, I heard Madea come out. Like, all right, Ty.
I feel like in Good Deeds, I took him seriously.
Did you?
There's some things, but it's got to be like real short. Like,
you're like, if it's a feature film, I don't believe him. Like Alex Cross, I don't believe you, but because Good Deeds is like other people with it, you're like, all right, I take you in spurts.
Yeah.
But like you being like a real person in real life, can't do it. That's sad. We don't even believe him being a man.
Oh God.
We can only see you.
I would like to say, for the record, that I do believe him as a man.
Okay.
You a whole daddy.
Who's?
Tyler got a baby.
And a girlfriend. Well,
he got a baby. She might have been a surrogate, but whatever.
No, he dating her. They be in pictures together, girl.
When
Yes,
the woman
ma'am.
off of, Dr. Phil was.
Oh, yeah.
Dr. Phil ought to be shaking.
Y'all gotta Google that Dr. Film clip with that lady who thought she was married to Tyler Perry, but she ain't met nobody in his life. She's sending him money. Her kids were so angry in that clip.
Somebody was catfishing her.
You know him.
And getting all the money.
And I said it was taking advantage of her because clearly.
And she worked for Homeland Security in the scam artist division. I was like, girl, that's our government is trash. You getting scammed, but you out here trying to help other folks. Get your life.
Be like that sometimes.
But so, okay. Well, we come to a conclusion. Tyler Perry is better as Medea. And he reaches the audience that he reaches.
Yeah.
Sounds like we agree.
I ain't going to the movie theater to see it, but I'll catch it on the side.
Maxie said, y'all might not see me at Carmike, but I'm gonna be watching it at home.
She'll holler back at us.
And when it come on BET, Blackbusters, I know it's gonna come on, and I'm probably gonna be bored one Saturday, and I'm gonna watch it
Do you still
in about 2 or 3 years.
He was on everything. TBS, yeah.
Let me find out that, and he don't really have that many shows on TBS anymore.
They all
Because at
on.
one point, yeah, it's all on. Because at one point, I was like, Tyler Perry. He was like, it would be TBS and it'd be Tyler Perry on the side and all that.
But I thought I read somewhere that he was parting ways with OWN, and he was going to BET.
I don't know. Listen, BET already black enough.
Listen, let me tell y'all something. Here's the bigger issue. Auntie Oprah out here endorsing all these people that
Are problematic?
But Oprah is also creating a platform for every African American person you can think of.
So we need to send her some stories.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because here's the thing, they may be problematic, but then there are also a lot of people who are not problematic. So, I mean, there's extremes. You can't cater to one audience.
Yeah.
But Oprah employs the most African Americans on TV.
Also, I will say that these people, you've got to separate people from their work. And they probably are very good people. Like, they probably have a very good platform, have very good intentions. And so maybe that's why she's aligning with them, because she's aligning with what they're trying to do and not necessarily like that product. Although they've been ripping Yama up in these streets, child. I don't know if she gonna have a season next season, because they were not pleased. They were not pleased with that episode that we talked about last time.
I mean, like I said, Oprah, a lot of people will say what they want about Oprah, but Oprah gives back, and she makes sure that she gainfully employs everybody that's a darker hue.
That's true. That's true. I can get that.
So, I mean, despite, what that look like.
So,
Well, thank you guys for being a part of my segment.
All right, Kay, you're up.
Okay. This week we're back to Get Your Life. And we're going to go a little bit further and do a little bit more exploring of the topic Angry Black Woman, which Dani introduced in her Rants, Reads, and Resolution. So, just from personal experience of hearing about it, seeing it, all of the above. Okay. The angry black woman is considered this stubborn, loud, independent, I don't need no man, rude, sassy. Overall, everybody just thinks that person is just too much. And so how that stereotype can affect us as black women across settings is by far, it makes it difficult for us to do many things. And the first topic that I discovered was workplace. It's hard for us to get ahead in the workplace. For me personally, the stereotype of not being bitter and not being angry all the time, it's stuck in my brain as like that invisible knapsack that we carry around, not knowing that we carry it around. And it stuck to me to be more quiet in the workplace for a long time. Mm-hmm. Like, it takes a lot to get me out of my zone, because I don't want to be deemed as the problematic black person in the workplace.
Like me.
You said it, girl. You said it.
But it makes it 10 times harder for us to like get promotions and achievements, and we're overlooked most of the times compared to our counterparts that have the same experience, same expertise, and we just let for a while until we're tired and we're fed up and we go a different direction. We let it just, it's okay, maybe next time, maybe the next time, maybe the next time. However, there are some women who actually speak up and they go for what they know and they go for what they want, and then as soon as they do that, oh, you just an angry black woman.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I didn't give it to you. That would be the excuse. Almost like how my mama used to tell me back. My mama used to tell, like, if I couldn't go somewhere, like, I'll be angry and upset in that moment, and then I'll go in my room and sit down and she'll come in my room and be like, this room ain't even cleaned up. That's why you ain't going. So they find the after effect of why, to justify why they didn't give it to you in the first place.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
I made you got yourself tickled.
listen, because I see my mama whole face in my closet. She used to stay. We couldn't go nowhere. Okay, no. Another one is how it affects intimate relationships. Like, everybody, in a sense, like, over time, the black woman is supposed to be this submissive, lead and not, well, follow and not lead, and just sit back and not have a voice in a lot of things until they actually fed up. And going back to the Tyler Perry movie, like, movies, it takes a lot to build up. Like, you can get cheated on 15 times, you can get beat on daily, but it takes years for you to decide that I'm angry enough, quote unquote, to actually mess some crap up, become valid, and get out of this situation. Like, it takes balance most of the times, especially when it's depicted in those movies, to get out of the situation. Because you're not going to take me serious until I show you how I feel.
What was the movie with, oh man, that Tyler Perry movie where the lady, yes, when she tried to push him in the tub, and he was like paraplegic or he just got shot or something. Yeah, it took her a long time to try to suffocate and kill him. Yes, that was the whole movie. I was like, you should have been dead then. Right.
And that was probably in the opening credits. Probably her though fighting with her values of how she was brought up and how she was raised and trying to be that person.
Better than me, honey.
But that's why we're here, Dani. To break that stereotype.
Get your sister.
Yeah. Because for a long time, like, you're in that relationship, you're selective, you're guarded, and if you speak up, you're disrespectful. And so that's how that affects the intimate relationship. Another piece that I thought was very important is how it affects the relationship with other black women. To me, what stuck out was crabs in a barrel. Because everybody thinks that, well, have painted this picture of the angry black woman or different stereotypes. We all can't exist. We all can't pick each other up. So if I see you getting ahead of me, I got to pull you back a couple of notches because you can't get too far.
And now we arguing over flat tummy too.
Okay.
Or Negroes.
Yeah, or them titty things that pull your titties together. You know that little ziploc bag that zip your titties together?
That little bra thing.
On the other day.
Yeah, everybody want to bring somebody down because her flat tummy tea the same as mine.
Right.
Girl, they all fake.
We all can exist. We are, like, look at the different cultures, like the Asian community and things like that. Like, even for my job, like, even though my boss branched out to a whole nother, I guess, field of work, he's still owning a business. They value owning businesses. So if you didn't own that type of business, it would have been the laundromat, it would have been the cleaning, it would have been like all these different businesses. But as long as you're owning something and we're going to actually put in and help you build that business, because we're a family or because we are as one and we're going to help you grow.
In the Asian community, they actually have it where everybody puts into a pot $10,000 to $15,000 and opens up like a beauty supply store.
Mm-hmm.
And then when that beauty supply store has become profitable, then they take the extra and then they open up another beauty supply store. And so what they do is they always put money into the pot, but they always get tenfold back. And then that's why they have 482 beauty supply stores, and we all are going to them. So, but that is, they always build each other up. That community will always excel because they put into a pot. Whereas, a lot of times our stereotype is that we take from the pot and don't put nothing back in.
Mm-hmm. And that's across like multiple cultures. Like they ride with each other.
Jewish culture. Mm-hmm.
And we still out here trying to figure it out. And for what? Like, we can all come up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but all that goes back to like slavery and just kind of like that mentality of dividing us so that they would be able to further along slavery. You had to divide people so they wouldn't like rise up and rebel against slave owners and stuff. And so we still haven't made it out of that mentality. Unfortunately, we are the crabs in the barrel.
Unfortunately. So I'm going to leave y'all with this small stage of change. Like, begin to find your voice and figure out what lane you need to be in, because your lane may not look like my lane. That doesn't mean I can't support you at the same. Or if it does look like we're driving in the same lane, hey girl, slow down, slow up. How you doing?
Right.
Like, what you do to get up there? Well, let me help you get up here. Like, pull a sister up while you going. Because unity to me is power.
Yeah. You better let them know.
And on my closing, I want to go from the angry black woman to just the black woman. A force that intimidates many, because when and if she realizes her power, embrace it accordingly, the opportunities are limitless.
Amen.
Yeah, all right.
That's how we go. That's the new definition that we need to adopt.
Love it. So, are y'all ready for this good old sister circle?
Sister circle. I don't know why I got
Girl.
And I was going to go, sister.
Did you just freestyle that? No, I can't.
I was going for the sister, but I couldn't get the devil.
I cannot. Okay, so this week in the Sister Circle, we are going to just piggyback off of the discussions that we've already had about angry black women, and let's discuss it a little bit more in depth, put some things on the table. So first off, we've already kind of thrown out some different examples of angry black women, but I wanted you to get y'all's opinion on other media forms where you've seen the angry black woman stereotype depicted, whether that's a song, film, media. What have y'all seen?
I'm gonna just start off by saying, like, every Love and Hip Hop, all the reality TV shows on VH1, Bad Girls Club,
Bad Girls.
which FYI, I used to watch. I watched it one season, and it was this one character. Shout out to my sister. There's this one character. Her name was Ripsy. She wasn't black though, but she got drunk one episode and then like kept passing out, and then she would wake up and start fighting folks. And whoop, that thing. I still watch the episode to this day. That was like 13 years ago. But yeah. So Bad Girls Club, because the black girls on that show are atrocious. So Love and Hip Hop, every one of them, Miami, New York, Ohio, California, Minnesota, all of them. All the Love and Hip Hops.
I ain't never heard no black people in Minnesota.
Housewives.
And you know what? Even though I love Real Housewives of Atlanta, I do watch that. I've noticed that the further the seasons progress, the more aggressive they become. I feel like when they first started, it was like here and there, but now it's like the whole season. It's like, no, you didn't. Like, I don't, and it's like y'all got money. Like, why are y'all upset? But Yeah.
Buku money.
Because one got a few more coins than the other.
Crabs in a barrel.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Trying to keep that peach.
Yeah, girl, for all means, I'll say. But what else? I feel like they everywhere.
I feel like
K Michelle.
I think like Waiting to Exhale they had some angry.
Oh,
yeah.
some.
I mean, I was angry. Yeah.
Bullshit.
Thin line between love and hate.
Yes.
That Lynn Whitby.
Lynn Whitby played that role to the 12
I was scared.
Cooking.
Cookie, yeah. Definitely Cookie.
Mm-hmm.
I told y'all I stopped watching Empire when she came out in that monkey suit.
Ain't that it, girl? When she came down as a gorilla in the cage, I said, well,
This is
good
where I
day.
leave you.
Yeah, good day, because you still couldn't justify that to me.
Nope.
Good damn day.
And whoever thought that it was okay?
And then they start
It's on
becoming
my DVR. Just ain't.
it's a hip hopper now. I don't got time for that. You know, I like sing along with musicals. But
I love a good musical, but I was like, not these monkey suits. Not today.
and it was no justification. None. What else on TV or music?
You know, I picked some songs because I thought that was the only.
Okay.
one.
I did too. I was listening to my Angry Black Woman playlist before y'all got here.
So Jasmine Sullivan.
Oh yes.
First Window.
Yes.
Yeah.
First of all, that was my joint. When I get upset, I'm like, oh.
But you know how to leave it as a
Right,
song.
right. Please Don't Gone by Monica.
Oh yeah.
Man Down by Rihanna. She killed the whole person in
She
that
did.
part.
Rum pump. I just shot a man down in
Yeah.
station.
And what's the other one she had with the Russian roulette?
Russian roulette.
Yeah. Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
That was a.
Although, I mean, Russian roulette is like a scary game.
I don't know.
I don't know.
No.
Man, her whole album after the domestic violence incident was very angry. G4L, Gangsta for Life.
What is it? Rated R? That was the album, wasn't it? When she was in all the. Yeah, Rated R was a rated R as. Yeah.
But it was so good.
It was a little aggressive.
It was.
It was really good though. What else?
Well,
If you ain't got no K Michelle songs, I
don't. I have
Well, Keisha
Beyonce Ring the Alarm
Oh yeah.
because
Yeah.
also Don't Hurt Yourself.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she did become a little aggressive in that song.
I really want to karaoke that song. Like that is my life goal.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm here for a karaoke.
yes.
Nobody got a Keisha Cole song?
No.
All of the Keisha Cole songs.
All of them.
List
Nobody had a K
off.
Michelle song on their list?
I don't
No.
listen to her.
Also, I had Deliver Us from Eva. Because that always sticks out to me. It's like an angry black woman movie.
Yeah, definitely. From beginning to end.
Mm-hmm.
Well, almost end.
She was so tough.
I got one. Players Club.
That
Angry Black
was
Woman.
them.
Let me tell you something. With the hair stripper with the blonde wig. Woo, chick. Ooh.
Don't make that money.
Let the money make you.
Let the money make you.
It's all about life. But yeah, she Players Club. Woo, chick.
Yes.
That was a.
What you got, Kay?
Did we say that right?
Huh? No,
Make
you
the money,
didn't say-
don't let the
yeah.
money make you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Did we
said
not say it right?
Yeah. I said
Y'all knew what we was talking about.
We felt it in our souls.
Sure did.
I thought of Esther off of Sanford and Son. Y'all ain't never seen Sanford and Son?
I have watched. I used to watch it. I used to watch
all
it.
the time.
Y'all got so quiet. I was like,
But they used to go for her all the time.
It caught me off guard. Like,
I ain't got it.
That's all of you.
Pam off of Martin.
mhm.
Man, well, she do
She
be angry.
Was she an angry black woman?
Yeah.
I feel like she was. I guess so. She was just funny to me, but I guess that is
But she
angry.
was. But to me, she is the. I guess. I think she was more assertive, and people took her as the angry black woman. So that. Yeah. Jamil Hill.
Oh,
ESPN.
yes.
When they.
Yes.
Woo,
She was
Jesus.
just like, I said what I said.
And I ain't taking that.
Yes.
But
Oh,
and then the bad thing is Trump said the exact same thing, but in a different way. Like, and everybody was like, "Yeah, get
No,
him."
he called the NFL players motherfuckers.
Yeah.
And nobody, excuse my language, but that was a direct quote. He said that.
You're right.
And nobody asked for him to be fired.
Yeah. He sent one tweet out.
All she said was, "You can stand up for yourself." But that is an angry black woman trait, assertiveness.
Mm-hmm. And when they deemed her as that, they hired her back. Like when they allowed it to be like, oh, let's just rub it off as an angry black woman. She was just having a moment.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she was able to get her platform back.
Yeah.
She apologized and she got her platform back.
Oof, I didn't think about Jamel Hill. That's a good one.
Jeez.
Also,
Shanae was one.
Oh yeah,
she was all kinds of angry black woman.
She was.
She was either woman. Because her and Pam would be going at it.
Yes.
And I'm like, dang, Shanae. And then like soon as she would just like, it's like she was looking out the peephole waiting. And then she'd be like coming out with her nails and her bop, whatever hairstyle she had. Yeah, Shanae was one.
I thought about Nicki Minaj back a few years ago when she was having that whole feud with Taylor Swift, and then she got on
What's good, Taylor?
No, that's not what she said. She said Miley, what's good on the VMAs, because Miley kind of called her out, and then she was being angry. I mean, true. But in that scenario, it was kind of like Monique. It was like Monique all over again. Nicki was saying valid things. Mm-hmm. Her point was valid, but it's like, it wasn't even the delivery, it was the timing. It's like, you haven't spoke up about anything, but now, all of a sudden, when you get snubbed for something, it's all about this equality.
Let's be real, she got snubbed for a trash song and a trash video. Nobody care about no Anaconda.
Okay.
Or booty, what was it called?
Anaconda. I think it was
Anaconda, yeah. I remember seeing butts in the video.
So it was like, if she had said that at any other time, then it would have been okay. But I'm not.
Like, that's gonna stay.
That's gonna stay. Yeah, but at any other time it would have been valid. And Miley basically said that of like, no, girl, you just mad. So she did really look like the angry black woman in that situation. So yeah, we've got lots of examples of how the angry black woman stereotype is depicted in media and songs and films and everything. Yeah. Can you guys think of times that you have been accused of being the angry black woman? Would you like to go first, Dani?
Like all my life.
Oh God, we didn't say Color Purple.
Oh
yeah,
definitely.
You know how I feel about it.
I mean, the sad part about my life story. It's been my life, like my whole life. My issue is that I have a very thin, very razor thin line between assertive and aggressive. And I toggle back and between and back and forth. Like, I'll be just double dutching over that joint. But my issue is that I just have a very strong personality. And I think that sometimes it can take people back. And then sometimes it fits in. As a therapist, it works. Like, I have a certain type of clients that come back all the time because they're like, you don't hold no punches. You're very blunt. You say it how it is. That's what we need. But then sometimes it's scary to other people because it's like, I say what's on my mind. Sometimes I use a filter. Sometimes I don't. And I think that... and then I think the struggle is that I've had to really scale my personality back in certain settings, and it makes me feel like I'm not being true to who I am. So I will definitely say that my life story has been of that razor thin, assertive and aggressive, and how it works and how it just does not work at all. So,
well, that goes back to what Sash was saying in the previous question. There's a time and a place. You just figured out that there's a time and a place.
But then the thing about that is you are who you are at the end of the day. Mm-hmm. When you are not who you are not being true to who you are.
Right.
So when you have to say there's a time and a place to not be yourself, then it's like that's a bigger concept, because then they're saying there's a time that you can be who you are and there's a time that you have to be fake. And I've struggled with that in many. I mean,
I don't think
It's all or nothing thinking.
there ain't no shades of gray.
I'm 50 of them mugs.
It does. No, well, here's the thing, because when you're either assertive or aggressive, there really is no shade of gray. You either are assertive or you are aggressive. I remember when at work, one of my goals on my evaluation was to decrease my aggressiveness and become more assertive, or find the fine line between. Mm-hmm. And I remember having a conversation with one of my supervisors, and I was like, there is no line between. You're either assertive or you're aggressive. There is no like aggressive serve. You know, like a whatever. Aggressive, you know, like whatever the word combination is.
I don't think you found it yet, but it exists. But I am the line between your aggressive and assertive.
But see, Sasha's issue, Sasha's girl.
Okay. My name is Sasha, girl.
I was gonna say Sash Bosh, girl, whatever.
Start it over. Go ahead.
What I think that one of my my podcast friends' issue is that she her issue is that she just becomes deaf, mute, and unfunctional. But when she gets into uncomfortable situations, like Sash becomes deaf and mute. She'll sit in a meeting and she just is like invisible. And I think that's how she functions. And I'll be like, and I'll literally send her a message and I'm like, hey girl, like, you not gonna say nothing? And she'll like, no. And I'm like, so that is how you deal with it. That's your fine line. But then that could be aggressive too. Because you sitting in the back of the meeting looking like an angry black woman.
First of all,
on your laptop, pretend like nobody talking to you.
That's called passive aggressive.
Oh yeah, well the passive aggressive is the fine line between. That's what Sasha is.
I dissociate and it's like I'm somewhere else right now. But when I said that I'm the fine line between your aggressive and assertive, is because I also am very opinionated and don't shy away from telling people how I feel. But I do it in a way that it doesn't come out like nobody feels threatened. Nobody feels like I'm coming at their neck. It's just like, hey, this is how I'm feeling. I'm taking accountability for how I feel about this situation. This has made me upset. We need to figure out something different. And it's not like guns not blaring. It's
I don't
just
be
like
throwing no guns up.
you don't be throwing no guns up.
My words are like bullets sometimes.
Exactly.
My words are like bullets. And sometimes that is something that
we'll be sitting there looking at you clutching our pearls like,
yeah, I'm a work in progress.
CiCi, get us. CiCi, get your friend. Get your friend, CiCi.
Yeah, I just
hold her back.
Yeah, there are times where it's like, in my mind, it's like a snap. Like, something goes off and I go 0 to 100 and I'm like, no, I'm going to say it. Like, and I've been chased down hallways like, no, girl, don't do it. But it is... There's a level of
I literally had to tag along with you a couple weeks ago to make sure, like.
But there's a level of disrespect that triggers that aggression. And I don't think people see it. I think they see it as, oh, she's being an angry black woman, but they don't see the trigger that comes before it. I don't wake up in an angry black woman mood. I'm normally triggered. There is a disrespect. There is a intolerance. There is another adverb. There's some things that just so happened that happened first that nobody sees. Like when you send me an email in all caps, I see that as you being aggressive first. You know what I'm saying? But nobody sees that email. They just see me spazzing out. Or when you tell me what I'm supposed to do as a grown woman, I'm a grown woman. I pay mortgage. I pay car note. You don't talk to me in a disrespectful manner. So when you do it, nobody sees that part though. They just see Dale going off again. And so, you know, it is one of those situations where I think the difficult part, the misunderstanding of an angry black woman is that you're just doing it for no reason. Mm-hmm. Whereas like nothing, everybody knows I'm normally triggered into these responses.
Yeah, so it's like learning to pick your battles, basically, is what it is. Every battle ain't worth fighting.
Yeah, and I don't want people to think that Dani is this fire-breathing
She's
dragon,
not a fire-breathing
but she's
dragon.
not. I don't know why she's depicting. You are very
She is very sensitive and
but
very
I don't
sweet.
know why you're depicting yourself as this.
No, I mean, it's because of the question. Yeah, it's just because of the question.
You're not.
Like, I think you are strong,
caring person.
Yeah,
She really is.
but she's strong-minded, and you say what you need to say when it needs to be said.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah. But I think that just based off the question, I wasn't trying to make it seem like I'm angry all the time. Sometimes, but it's really like when you are in those situations, and I will say with our counterparts, it is one of those situations where they see it as these are the things that happen, and there are things that they see that just don't happen. Like they don't see the before, they just see the current, and I it's a work in progress. I'm a lot better than what I used to be. Because before I didn't know there was a filter. Now I'm able to implement the filter and then kind of like step out. Or like, use my coping skills and then like step out. But before I didn't know there was a filter.
And I feel like really you give us the brunt of your anger before you even go into those. Like we see you angry. Right. By the time you made it to them, you've said everything that shouldn't be said in front of anybody else.
Or I'll call somebody. Like I'm good for calling my mom, or I'll say something to my sister. Like I have to have someone hear it so that it's already out. And then I go into a set and I'm like, okay, this is what's bothersome. This is what my issue is. Da, 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 da. But if I don't have somebody, it's likely that it's going to end in a blaze. But I've been able to use certain people and say, okay, listen to me cut this person out and then let me go be nice.
And I feel like that's where that comes in. When you were saying like being your true self and you found where you could do what you needed to do, and then make whatever happen. So, and you still being authentic to who you are. You just do it in a roundabout.
You used all your supports.
Well, I guess since you already have thrown me out there, I'll go next.
I didn't say your name.
I mean, you did. So you made a very valid point as far as how I can present as an angry Black woman. Is that, first of all, I have what they call a resting bitch face. And so my default facial expression is just a scowl. I think I look normal, but everyone else apparently thinks that I'm going to just like jump on them and beat them down. So I have to try very hard to look as if I'm in a good mood, even though most of the time I'm pretty chill. Even when my face does look like that.
Are you?
Yep. Also, when I become angry, a lot of times I will become very quiet initially because that is my processing time. I need to make sure that I do not curse you out or jump on you. And so I have to go inside of myself and do lots of self-talk and reflection, or completely just take myself out of the situation by looking at something that has nothing to do with it, because that is a coping skill for me. But to other people, that looks like I'm sitting in a meeting, being an angry Black woman, very disengaged.
Typing on your laptop.
Hey, work got to be done. Work has to be done. So that is something that I am working on as well. Also, I will say in the past, I have spent less time being quiet and more time popping off whenever I'm angry about something. But I've been straying away from the pop-offs right here lately. What about you two sweet ladies over here?
I haven't had too many encounters where I was considered the angry Black.
I couldn't
woman.
imagine it.
I was gonna say we really are going in order of anger.
Yeah. But when I do, I guess everybody look at me as with this shock face.
Yeah.
I think I got into the middle of an argument for the first time in my family.
Oh, wow.
Like literally just the first time, and everybody looked at me like, "Kat, I didn't know you had it in you." I mean, it's there. I just don't bring her out that often. But when I bring her out, I'm considered this feisty, cuddly person who is like, "Oh, somebody must have pushed your buttons because you don't come out of your shell that often."
Oh, yeah, so they see completely.
So I'm not deemed, I guess, as that angry black woman.
Right.
I'm deemed as the, oh my gosh, what have somebody done to you to make you feel that way? I don't know why, but
Whereas if one of us pop off, it's like, here she go again.
Pretty much.
Mad about something else.
how can we help you?
But I will say, I'm guilty of that because I remember like when you were pregnant
Oh yeah,
and you would come to us mad about something, it would be like, girl, you all right?
Mm-hmm.
You need something? Like we
I
need
was shocked and
we need to
surprised.
squat up. We need to roll out. Like what we got to do? Because this ain't like you, girl.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I mean, you already know.
Y'all already know. She's smiling so bright. Like
Now listen, if you probably ask my husband, he probably think I'm angry every day, but I don't feel like I get like that. I think I'm a lot like Kay. If I do get angry, they be like, what in the world is going on? Like
I've known C for maybe like 10 years. Yeah, I've known C for like what?
that gas was not for that. I thought about a time when she was angry.
That's what I was about to say. I've seen her angry one time, and I just so happened to be in the room when she was angry, and even I felt like I had to become invisible because it made me so uncomfortable. I really just like, you know, a Kevin Hart movie where he always talking about his grandma played it. I had to play it because I didn't know what was about to happen. She got so angry, and I clutched my imaginary eyebrows. I was like, my God, I've never seen this in like 10 years.
No, I think if I really truly, I internalize everything. So if I really allow my anger to release, it might be real detrimental.
You would be like them women in them Tyler
I
Perry
really
movies.
would. Yes, that's probably why I watch, because I identify. For real. But that's something that I know I need to work on. I was talking to my supervisor the other day, and he was just like, why don't you ever get angry? Like, get angry. And I was like, nah, bro, you don't want that. He was like, you need to unleash your anger. So
He hit you with an ayana.
he did. Yeah, he did. I'm out here stuck.
But you know, one thing I learned, and I kid you not, this has helped me, and I learned this in grad school. One of my grad school teachers made the comment, and she was just like, you have to understand that anger is a natural emotion. You can't avoid it. You have to go through it. She said, just as you can be happy, just as you can be excited, you have to be angry too. She said, but then we're taught at a young age that you can't be angry. You can't be angry at your parents. You can't be angry at your teachers. You can't be angry at your peers. Like, you can't be angry. Mm-hmm. But it's a natural emotion, just as happy and calm and excited are. And so once she told me that, I was like, well, I've been holding back. I'm sorry. I was angry before then. But that's something that dawned on me. Like, it's a natural emotion.
You know what? I will say, this is a question for you, just specifically, because as we were talking, I was thinking about, just thinking in general. Would you say that? What's your motivation for working on your anger?
That's a good question. First it was because I have a mortgage and a car note, and I have to maintain the job. So, you know, I mean, and the scope of things, the reality is my anger has never put me in a situation where I've ever gotten in trouble at work, but I've had some talking to. So, like, chill out. And I think a lot of it is that the people that are like my supervisors learned me first. And they understand, like, okay, there's a way to, like, talk her off the ledge. Mm-hmm. But, like, I think my biggest motivation is work. I would say the second one is because I don't want to be the stereotype. Like, I don't want to be, you know, the lady cussing at Walmart, you know, which I am. But I mean, I just don't want to be, I feel like because there's so much pressure as an African-American woman, I don't want to play into someone's idea of who I am.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think that I have the RBF, and, you know, a lot of times people are like, she already looks mean, you know? So it's, you know, I just don't want to play into it. So I think that's like my second motivator.
Yeah, and I would say the reason why I asked that question was because as we were talking, I was thinking, and I was like, you know what? I haven't always been an angry black woman. Like, there was a point in my life where I shifted into being angry. There were things that happened in my life that made me angry. Right. And so I think for me, I've worked really hard on my anger, because my anger was heavy. It wasn't natural. It was like I was carrying around a burden, and it was coming off as anger towards other people. People were like, Sasha, you're so moody. You always got an attitude, da 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 da. And so for me, I let it go because it was heavy. And so now, even whenever I see people being angry, depending on what's going on, not with you, but like other people, sometimes it makes me feel really uncomfortable because I can identify with the place where their anger is coming from. And it's like, I really wish, like, I feel sorry that you're still carrying around that weight and that you've got to be so angry because you feel like that's protective.
I mean, my anger is light as a feather. And I think a lot of it...
And mine was not. It was a Mack truck.
Yeah, like my anger, because I think it's you. Yeah, it's like, it's me. It's not anger.
It's not anger.
It just
passion.
looks like it. Right. I'm very passionate. That's what I'm gonna call it, girl. But but it's like my assertiveness and my passion just look like anger, but it's not me. Like, anger for me is fight. But I've never fought anybody at work. I've never fought anybody I have. But the thing about it is, it's just one of those situations where it just looks like it, and that's how it's interpreted. You know, on the other side, the perception is, because she's passionate, because she's assertive, it's anger. And I think that's the issue with the stereotype, because then you get put in this box, and it took a long time for me, and I'm still struggling to get out of this box. I mean, to this day, I be having my slip-ups, but it's hard because it's not intentional, and it's not something that I see as like it came from a deep-rooted place. My mama is probably the reason where it came from, but I'm her, and she's very assertive in work, and it's taken her far. So it's kind of like I position myself to be similar to her, but she's owned it. She's gotten it to like a place where it works for her. I'm just still working on that. So that's why in her setting, it looks great. In my setting, it's like, girl, chill. You know? So.
Yeah. How have you guys managed your encounters with other angry black women?
Well, I'm friends with you, girl.
Same here. Same here. So I would say I manage my encounters with you with a lot of tit for tat. This is like us all day. Right. And we need our other two sisters most of the time to balance us out, because it'll be like, okay, y'all, CiCi and Kay be sitting there like, okay, come on, y'all.
Where you at, girl?
Are y'all done? Are you finished?
I was just gonna tell the people in the podcast world, if y'all haven't paid attention to our profile pic, you will see the looks that Dani and Sasha giving each other, and that was on purpose.
Because I am constantly giving you a side eye. That was an intentional placement. When I think about encounters with angry black women, I think about, like when you're going out somewhere, like maybe you're in a store or something, and you bump into somebody by accident or something, and it's like that lady who's popping off, or like you see people in a store and they're just like, they're going off and all this kind of stuff. And I think like before that used to like, I would be real guard. Like, I don't really want to interact with her because I don't want to have to match that, because we'll scrap in here. But now, now I can be a little bit more empathetic. Like, whenever I see somebody that's upset, like, I kind of want to like go over there and help and be like, hey, what's going on? Oh, to be like that interpreter for the anger, like
anger
like she's upset right now, but this is not what this is about.
Right.
Like, let her live. She having a rough day. You see all these kids over here, you'd be angry too. Like, come on now, relax. I guess other times that I've encountered angry black women, it's been like in situations where it's like, you talking to my man, blah 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 blah, and it's like, First of all, girl, if he's yours, don't want it. I try to be very careful in those situations because it's like I'm not going to go back and forth with you about no nigga. Like, that's just not what we're gonna do.
One, we're just too old.
Right.
Hello.
Far too old. And it's like if you, this is what you need in your life, girl,
We know
go right on ahead.
Bring this thing out.
We are not. That is what we will not do.
Still going.
And generally, I'm not going to argue with people who come up to me trying to argue because, again, anger is heavy for me, and I just be like, I don't want it. I don't want that.
When it comes to other anger, here's the thing: if I don't get paid to interact with you, I'm not going to put kitten gloves on. So if you come in my office and you're an angry black woman, I'll process it with you, like Sash said. I will, try to work with you and help you discover the root of it and all that stuff. But if we at Walmart, because that's normally where my angry black woman comes out.
That's where everybody.
I don't know if it's God's purpose for me not. Yeah, like I be in the parking lot. Like I don't even be at Walmart. I be at the cross. Like I don't know what it is about certain places with other people, but it always seems to be. Not always. I would say like 80% of the time it's an angry black woman, and my response is never positive. And somebody told me the other day, and it might have been one of y'all, someone who was just like, you have to be concerned for your life. And sometimes when I'm in another encounter with an angry black person, angry black woman, it just like sparks my anger. And it's like we ping ponging up like the hill, like we both going higher and higher and higher. And I've had moments where
like
it's
Jacob's ladder.
Not in this situation though, but but I mean, I will say, maybe it's just that I need to avoid those situations. Like maybe I need to stop going to Walmart or pick a better time to go because it don't happen at Target.
I was gonna ask you that.
It's
question.
about picking. It's about picking your battles because like that anger is coming from somewhere. I'll take a L when it comes to going on a tit for tat with somebody because it's like you win. You're right.
Yeah, and I'm good with that in other situations. But when it comes to another black woman, like I had a situation the other day, and I was telling CiCi, I was literally putting a cart in the cart return, and I turned around in the same area as the cart return, and the lady was just like about to sideswipe all the cars and like hit me. And I don't know what it like. When you see accidents, sometimes your car just like gravitates towards us. I don't know if she was paying attention to me, whatever it was. And I felt like I was in danger because I was like, dang, and so she got mad at me because I said, dang, or whatever it was that I said in that moment. And she said something out her window, and I was like, oh, okay. And then I just started going in, and it was just like, and then I have like these blackout moments where I'm just saying all kinds of reckless stuff. Like I call you a mama or something, and I call your daddy this. And
well, in that moment, I'm gonna say that you were probably in fear for your life, and so some of that.
Cars,
okay.
Been in cars.
Fight freeze situation.
I was trying to save it, clean it up a little.
My response is fight, and it's because. I don't know, maybe it's like there's this idea that you're not supposed to be this way towards me because we're like sisters. So I'm angry at you because why are you doing this? It just comes out wrong.
You working on it.
Makes sense, yeah.
It's all right. You ain't killed nobody yet.
How do you
Why you say yet, girl?
Ooh. I mean, I'm not saying you're gonna kill anybody.
You just did. You said
okay. You haven't killed anyone, so you good.
At this point in your life. I just couldn't resist that one. It was like just put it in my hand.
So
here we go again.
Right. Listen, and this is, I think, part of my backstory. A long time ago, when I was very young, I got bullied by angry black girls, and it wasn't nice. And so I think I've always been the avoider. So when I start seeing a lot of angry black folks or black women, I tiptoe around the other side just because my response is to flee the scene because you know, I don't like being around it. I've never seen like healthy anger. It's always been people bullying with other people, so I walk away.
How have you dealt? Okay.
I mean, I've been the person to argue till I'm blue in the face, and I think with time, I've grown to know that silence is not weakness. Because for me, if I didn't argue back with you, that means that I ain't strong enough, and you think I'm scared of you. But for me now, it's like I can just walk away, like you guys were saying about these situations. Like I can just walk away and be like, "You got it. I'm good."
Yeah. Yo, y'all ever been about to fight somebody and it's like that back and forth argument? That shit used to burn me up. I'd be like, look, are you gonna hit me or what? Because that's where my anger goes. Like, look, we ain't gonna keep talking about each other. We ain't gonna keep doing this back and forth thing.
Got close to the mic, not me. Just her.
Let's scrap it out.
But what'll happen now? Because all the stuff is built up. I hate it going around.
And I think that's the healthy thing about being me, because there is no volcano. There ain't gonna be no eruption. You see my little eruptions all over the place. But when it comes to like C, it's gonna be difficult because that eruption can come anytime. It's gonna have a you know how long the intensity is gonna be, the frequency. You don't know what it's gonna. I mean, you gonna be scared.
I'm scared of nice people. I ain't gonna front. I'm scared of a nice person than a mean person, because a mean person is showing me what they got. They let me know they ain't got nothing to lose or whatever. Like they putting it all out there on Front Street. But when you see somebody who's smiling all the time, they mad at you through clenched teeth. I'm like, nah, you can't trust them. Can't trust you. I'm gonna have to keep a weapon nearby just in case, because I don't even know where this might go. I don't know if you gonna hug me to death or if you gonna stab me to death. Like, I don't know what your move is.
Y'all already sent y'all that meme.
Oh, girl.
Yeah.
Even your memes get us off guard.
Right.
Yeah. Them gifts and the memes, girl.
You've been going through a stage.
I know. Them memes, you just be like, "Woo, we gonna pray for her, honey."
What's the difference between being angry and assertive?
I don't know.
I think that when anger is an emotion.
Natural emotion, yeah.
I think assertive is a lifestyle. I think you can choose to be assertive, and I mean, you're going to experience anger. I realize that, and it's healthy to do that. I just think that when I think about anger, and maybe it's just me, and I think Sash said that a little bit, like her anger has got a lot going on. I remember learning a long time ago at one of my jobs where we did the
Ripple effect?
Okay, something like that of anger, but talking about what lies underneath your anger.
Iceberg.
Yes.
Okay.
And what lies underneath it, and there's so many different levels. But I just think that anger is an emotion, and assertiveness is something that you display, a part of your personality.
It's a way of coping with said anger.
Well, I think people have angry communication and they have assertive communication on my part. When you're assertive and you're communicating, you're going back and forth with that person, I feel like you still respect the opinion of the other person, but you're still strong-minded and you're arguing your case in a respectful manner. When you go to that level of anger, I feel like everything and everybody else's feelings in that moment disappear. I only matter. And I'm going to figure out how to shift this anger and this blame to you because you don't matter.
Yeah, because when I think about being assertive, I think about setting boundaries or setting limits. Drawing a line in the sand. But when I think about anger, I think about just being completely caught up in emotion. And don't get me wrong, anger is okay. Anger is great. Like you need to be angry sometimes. Some things cause for you to be angry, but it's like I tell my kids, it's about what you do with that anger that's gonna make the difference. You know, if I'm angry and I slap you, that's probably not the best thing to do with it. But if I'm angry and I go scribble on some paper until I get all that anger out, and then I go have a conversation with you, that might be better.
I will definitely say that there's like research or statistic or something. I was watching it on the news the other day that women are less likely to be assertive in the workplace when it comes to like pay and, you know, discrimination, etc. They're less likely to assert themselves because of the concern of like, how is it going to be portrayed, or you know, etc. Like if somebody offers you a pay raise and you're like, well, no, I am worth more than that, we're not going to say that. And so I feel like there's a need for assertiveness as a woman in the world in general. Like we have to be assertive. We have to know what we are worth, and not stop until we get it. The aggressive aspect of it for me is rooted in, like, you know, when you feel like you've been pushed too far, or when you feel like, you know what, I've tried to be assertive and now that's just not working. Like it's like you know, you're assertive first and then you get pushed into aggressive, you know, a disrespect, or, you know, being triggered, or etc. And I think that, you know, in these situations, I personally feel as though assertive comes first and then aggressive comes second. It's like, you know, I'm trying to be nice about this. I need more money. But then aggressive comes in. It's like, all right, you going to give my money. Or else.
You ain't hear me the first time.
Yeah. That degree, I think anger has many degrees to it. And the more that you... I'm talking to myself. Jesus! But the more that you hold things in, or the more that you allow other things to compact that anger, then...
Yeah.
That's when that aggression happens, and sometimes aggression kills.
How do you know what battles are worth fighting?
AFROG. So, back in the day, there was this acronym in my old job. No, seriously, I use this in real life. It's an acronym. It's called AFROG, and I teach this to most of my clients. So, AFROG stands for AFROG. So the A is alive. So is what you're going to do going to keep you alive? That's the first question. If you can make it past that, then okay, you go to the next one. But the first question is, are you going to stay alive if you make this decision? So then the F is feel. Are you in your feelings? Like, is this a real thing, or is this just a perception? So is this person really talking about you, or you just assume they're talking about you because they might look at your direction? R, is this real? Is this something that, piggybacking off of the feelings, is this a real situation? Is this something that is like really a bothersome thing? Is this really a upsetting thing? Is this just real to you or to others? The O is the others, excuse me. How will your decision impact those other than you? Like your mom or your kids or your husband or your family. And then G is goals. So when you get to G is like, okay, if I make this decision, if I go off the deep end, how is this going to get me closer to my goals? How will this push me away from my goals? How will this just disintegrate my goals? So I use that acronym a lot because that AFROG kind of helps me. Like if I could get past, okay, if I make this decision, am I going to stay alive? Then I need some more things to kind of filter it. So yeah, AFROG has helped me. So I don't know if it's a tool.
It just helped me. Goddamn.
Yeah, I've never heard of AFROG.
I
But when you were talking about it, I was like, man, I guess I kind of use that. I didn't know that was the acronym. Okay.
It's an easy way to remember, right? AFROG.
What do y'all do?
Who, me?
Or how do you know what battles are worth fighting?
I don't know. I tend to leave them alone.
Like no battles, no battles.
I tend to leave most of them alone because if it ain't going to contribute, or if it ain't really impacting something that is going to put me in survival mode, I don't bother with it.
Yeah.
If my basic essentials are still being met, you can go on about your business.
Yeah, sure.
So that ain't Now if it's at my job, we're gonna have to have a conversation because that pay my bills.
Yeah.
And then my essentials won't be met. But no.
You're my church fan.
This is like, listen.
Are you passing?
Yeah.
She's like, oh, we done.
Well, I guess I kind of use the AFROG. Kind of. I guess. I don't know. I just, had to stop and ask myself, is this something that you can control? Like, if you go off or not, like, is this really in your control? And 2, is this something that's about you, or is this about them? If it's something about me, then I don't even need to be addressing it with them necessarily. If it's like me being in my feelings, I need to figure that out. If it's something that they're doing, then asking myself, is having this conversation even going to make a difference? Because sometimes you can have a conversation with somebody about something that they've done that's offensive to you, and depending on where they are in life, they might not care. You know, if you're an asshole, you're just an asshole, and there's no point in me even going back and forth with you about the fact that you are that, because you are still going to be an asshole at the end of this conversation. So those generally are the battles that I don't fight.
Okay.
What behaviors are confused with anger for Black women?
Passion.
Leadership.
Yeah.
Boundaries.
Healthy boundaries.
Bitterness. Well, I guess that is anger, though.
Petty. Because I could be petty and not mad at you. I'm for real. Petty's fun.
You right.
But then if I'm being petty, then like, so if somebody sees me and Sash going back and forth, they're gonna be like, "Oh, they mad at each other?" No, that's just how we are. We just petty, and we do petty stuff back. Like, we will have gift wars, and it's not us being angry. But if somebody on the outside sees it, other than K and C, it's gonna look like like, are they arguing? Like, what's going on? But we have that type of situation where it's we understand it, we put it into where it's supposed to be, and that's it. It's not anger. It's just funny to me. It's petty.
That's true.
But that could definitely be. Some of my jokes be a little aggressive. Well, that's because it's coming from an aggressive place.
it really does. But if somebody else that wasn't you sent me those same things, I'd be like, you don't even know me like that. We ain't them kind of friends. So, okay. Any other things that y'all think are confused with anger?
Then we covered it.
I think overall, when it comes to just angry Black women, there are things that are going on with that person. Even in the Tyler Perry movies, like if you think about all those women that he's portraying, they have a backstory, and the reason why we can relate to those characters in that film is because we know their backstory. And most of the time when we're interacting with people, we don't see their story. We don't know what led them to that point. So like I said, it's just about being mindful when you're interacting with quote unquote angry Black women, because there's probably something that's hurt or broken or just default for her, and just being more mindful of that instead of thinking that like something that, instead of personalizing, there's something that I did or she's coming at me some kind of way. That just might be something that's got to do with her. Any other thoughts about angry Black women? Any takeaways?
Passive aggressive women are as I think is a stereotype that is as bad as aggressive women. Because passive aggressive will get you smacked. No, for real. Because you ever dealt with because passive, like, aggressive is aggressive. It is what it is. But passive aggressive makes you feel like, what you said? Like, it just kind of make you second guess yourself, or it makes you think like, though that type of woman is going to be harder to engage with versus an angry woman, because you know what you get with an angry woman. Like, kind of like what you said about a woman that smiles. I'm not pointing at you. I'm just using my hands to talk. It just happened to be to my hand that I use to talk with. But passive aggressive women, I think, are difficult in the manner that it's cunning, and nobody wants to engage with a cunning person. Versus aggressive person, it is what it is. That's you would see that more as like a personality trait. But like that cunning, that very much like that undertone of conversation is, I think it's difficult. That's a stereotype that I think is very difficult outside of angry Black woman.
Yeah, I'm passive aggressive AF. I love to just, sometimes mind blow. I like to mind fuck people sometimes, because sometimes, I can be very crafty and smart, and so I say things and it just goes right over your head, and then afterwards you're like, did that bitch just... Yes, I did. And it took you a while to get it. But it's only what... But I don't do that. I don't do that in situations with others unless I'm familiar with them. Like, I'm passive aggressive with you all the time and very like sarcastic and stuff. Or, I'll give a good classy read, but in most real situations, I'm not passive aggressive.
I'm probably passive aggressive.
You think so?
In certain settings. Yeah.
Okay.
Any last questions about, or any last thoughts about?
There's a 3-second rule that I use sometimes too. Tuck a turtle. It's like the adult version. So Tuck a Turtle is like this. It's a tool that you use with kids where the turtle goes into a shell. He gets in there for 3 seconds. He thinks, he breathes, and then he comes back out. I think a lot of times people are good for saying 0 to 100 real quick, but you don't go 0 to 100 real quick. You really don't. And if you stop to think about how many times that you felt like you went to quote unquote 0 to 100 real quick, you realize there was some room at the beginning of that you could have like gone inside yourself and just took a deep breath. A lot of the times we'll cut somebody out in a heartbeat, but it really wasn't a heartbeat. You had time to stop and think. And I think that, I use a 3-second rule a lot at work, at least. But I'm still trying to move it into other settings in my life. But I use it at work because it is times where somebody will say something to you and your first thought is not always the best response. So I do take that 3 seconds, or sometimes 10, 15, a couple hours. But whatever happens, I have to make sure that this response is going to be the best option. It has to be the best option, not the first, not the one I want to say, but the best. And I do the 3-second rule, or take longer, or like we said already, I engage my peers or my family to kind of just like filibuster it. Like, how does this need to look? Like, what do I need to say? Or let me cuss you out, and then I'll go to this person, be fine. But these things have helped me, I guess, since I'm the quote unquote angriest of the black women on this podcast.
Oh my God, I can't. You made a good point though, when it's like people don't go 0 to 100, and it's about like not running from the angry feelings that you have, but like recognizing and understanding like what it looks like for you on that scale. What does it look like when you're a 1 and you're angry? What does it look like when you're a 5 and you're angry? What does it look like when you're a 10? And then being able to use those skills in between to make sure that you're not getting to a 10, that maybe you start to notice that you're angry and you're a 5 and you're like, okay, let me take these deep breaths, let me call this person, let me whatever, so I can get myself back down lower.
And another thing I use is visualization. I've been really crafting myself, really. Visualization helps. You have to envision something that helps you.
Visualizing you hurting people?
No.
Oh, you was snapping your hands.
No, visualizing myself in a calmer setting, or visualizing myself like my anger. So there's this game on Price is Right where it's the yodel guy and he's going up the cliff. Have you ever seen that? And he's like yodel, and like you gotta press the number, and if you guess too high, he falls off. I literally will sit in my office or sit somewhere and envision that game, and I'm like, there are breaks. Like he's going up the mountain, but there's stops. So I'm like, okay, where's my first stop? What do I need to do? If I keep going past that, okay, what is my next stop? What do I need to do? And and it's the weirdest thing. I will envision that green mountain and that little yodel guy going up the mountain, and I'm like, okay, how many stops do I need to take? And if I don't, then I will fall off the mountain. But most of the time, I'm able to take those breaks to stop myself while I'm going up the mountain to make sure that I don't, fly off the handle. But visualizing that helps. So.
Look at you, not angry as you think.
I mean, because in my life, I've had to come up and, I've had to fight. But, no, I've had to come up with some things that have helped me. And those are my, like, go-tos.
Thank you, Miss Sophia.
Thank you. Oh, my life.
All right, last question. We've kind of had conversations about stereotypes of black women, and so that's kind of what I wanted to close out on. What are the other stereotypes of black women that you guys have heard of?
The Jezebel, the harlot, the hoe.
that hoe over there.
I really hate that because most people don't use it in context. Like you can't say, look at that hoe over there. I mean, grammar. It's okay, never mind.
Ride or die chick.
Ride or die. Side chick.
A strong black woman.
A mammy.
Independent.
Not a
that's real.
I thought about Ayanda's mammy titty.
Ooh, Jesus. The you're pretty for a black girl stereotype.
Ooh, let me tell you something. You got curly hair, so you must be mixed. That one. I've slowly cussed a few people out. I have. When people ask me what am I mixed with, I will get angry. I will just put that. First of all, I'm an African American woman. We come in different complexion shades. We come in different styles. We come in different variations. Don't you ever come to me and say something about, oh, well, you can't be black or you can't be all black because you got no. Woo!
That's a rude question.
And I've had that so many times. I've had to read people for filth over that. That is the most asinine thing you can say to anybody. Ooh,
Goes
Jesus.
back to
That Lord, I done got angry, and it shows y'all what man look like.
my husband's probably the yellow of the yellows. My son is yellow, and so when I first had him, he was a real light complexion, and I was in the store and immediately, what is he mixed with? And I popped like I did pop off. I said African American and black. That's how. That's African American and black. However you want to frame it, he's those two.
That's the thing too about being angry. Sometimes your words come out when you're mad. You just can't even get them.
Yeah, that's true.
Because I
Did we
probably
say
had
the baby mama is a stereotype?
Oh, baby mama is
baby mama.
Mm-hmm.
Or you
or
know,
the angry baby mama.
You white, you acting white.
Woo.
Yeah.
We definitely got that. I think all of us.
All us.
The help.
Oh wow. I don't know about that one, but okay, girl. That's deep.
Almost like we can't lead.
Mm.
We always gotta be behind.
I was thinking like maids or something.
No.
I ain't no Aunt Jemima.
Aunt Jemima. Yeah, that's what. Of course, Crabs in the Bear. We already talked about that one. Hood rat.
Ratchet. Ratchet.
You know something I thought about that we didn't really talk about? Black girls not wanting to be friends with other black girls.
I'm not friends with black girls.
I mean, all my friends are black girls too, but a lot of girls will be like, nah, I don't hang with girls. I only hang with dudes. Girls got too much drama.
Yeah, that's
I used to be one of them girls, child. Catch me about high school. I'm like,
Did you say Did you say Sapphire?
No, I didn't say that, but yeah, Sapphire.
So there's lots of stereotypes.
I think
woke. Go ahead.
Yes, woke. I think there's a lot of things about being a smart black girl. Like you can't be smart. Like, oh, you smart.
Educated.
I don't wanna. Yeah.
There's one that one of my friends is called Venus Hottentot. Have you ever heard of that?
Huh?
Yeah.
Venus Hottentot.
That sounds messy, honey.
Imagine you hit the little Uzi Vert shoulders.
An African American woman who had a huge butt. She had a large backside, and she was put on display like in the and because she had this huge butt. And I think that's like the Venus Hottentot, like, oh, African American women, we got big butts, or don't trust a big butt and smile, or that kind of thing. So Venus Hottentot is like the root of that.
And I'm sure there's more that we haven't even said that we. So basically, the whole point in me asking that last question was because there are all these different stereotypes of black women, some that we probably forgot to mention, and it's going to be important. One thing that we talked about was doing a series about the different stereotypes of black women. Like, of course, this episode was all about the angry black woman stereotype, but in future episodes we will touch on some of these other stereotypes and flesh them out some too. Any last thoughts?
No, I think that was great though.
Appreciate y'all. What you got for us, Miss CiCi? Take us on out.
All right. Well, it's time for the little sprinkle. And I really just want to leave you with this verse. It comes from James, the first chapter, verses 19 through 20. It says, "Understand this, my dear brothers and sisters. You must all be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to get angry. Human anger does not produce the righteousness God desires." So I just want to say that I know sometimes when we pop off and, we get really angry about things and we don't really think about it. we just gotta slow down, listen, and figure out, because we can't listen. If two people are not arguing, it's not an argument. So you can back away. My pastor always
That's so real.
then you sound a little like you might need some help, some extra help. But my pastor always says this all the time. She says, go off of what you know and not what you feel. So a lot of times, meaning when you are angry or when you are whatever emotion that you're having, oftentimes we go off of that, but rather thinking about, hold on, let me slow down and go off of what you know, meaning you know the correct way to respond, or you know how to do X, Y, and Z, you know how to act, or you know how to handle yourself in that situation. Like, go off of what you know. So that means you just need to slow down. Don't be so quick to pop off.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Use a frog.
Mm-hmm.
I will.
Tuck a turtle.
Yeah.
And also, when you're talking to yourself, that brought that into my brain because I've done it before. And you try to evaluate and see what the world is going on. Like, did they just? Yes, you did. And like, take a little bit more time than that. Like, that wasn't enough time to process
You
the
gotta
situation.
listen. That's what the Bible said. Listen. Don't start speaking. Hear the other person out. Because when you hear it and you like, I ain't nobody got time for that. And you can move on. Like, you don't always have to pop off. And oftentimes when people popping off, the other person ain't even finished the sentence. Like, they didn't even know what was said.
And I think it's also helpful for you to remove yourself from any situation that you feel will get you to the pop-off point. You know, you can't have a conversation with someone when you're angry. It's impossible. You're defensive, they're going to become defensive, and it's going to be a big chaotic mess. So when I see situations that I know I'm not going to be fully invested with my healthy side, then I will step back and come back to it. Because there's nothing wrong. You come back to things when you're calm. Don't just go into an argument already angry, because you're not going to get anything out of that. And it's going to be like talking to a wall.
And nobody's listening whenever you're arguing with somebody. It's like, I'm going to talk over you, or I'm going to make sure my point is heard. And that's not productive. One other thing that I was thinking about that I don't think we touched on was that sometimes people pop off because of how they're perceiving something. And so a lot of times anger comes from a place of like feeling like you've been disrespected, or something about what that person did was a trigger for you personally. And that's things that we've got to remember. That's stuff that's in our bag. That's our own stuff. That's our own baggage. And so whenever you're dealing with other people, let's try to make a better effort of not making other people casualties of our own baggage.
Woo!
All right.
Okay.
So that was episode 4.
All right. Well, I mean, I was blessed and highly favored to be here with you all today.
As always.
Yes.
Of course, it's me.
I'm about to be more angry.
Be angry in these streets.
You gonna be more angry?
It is.
And I'm ready. I'm ready for those messages. They'll be like, you trying to ride out? Who we rolling up on? Be messing with her.
Get angry.
She don't just be mad out here. What you do?
Yeah, well,
Got a chopper in the car. Now I'm just playing.
girl.
That's in a Rick Ross song.
No.
I will tell somebody that in a heartbeat. I got a chopper in the car. Got nothing.
You don't even look like you have
A box of clothes.
Box of clothes.
A box of clothes, child, from that I need to take to the Salvation Army.
Either or. It was good talking to you all this week. And we will see you for episode 5.
Be blessed, not angry.
Bye.